very fast.
I need to drink water.
And I'll pour myself a shot. Hang on.
I
So
like
before,
I
yeah,
like
before I get into this, trust me, it's good. Hold on.
no. I had a lot to drink yesterday, and I puked just a lot right now. I need to drink water. So, I'm going on mute.
All right.
Hydration.
Excuse me. All right. So basically, I went to this university, and there was a lot of very sensitive people there. The point is this. I called the wrong girl because I have duplicate contacts sometimes. There's a lot of girls in my contacts. A lot of them are recruiters, interviewers, networking partners, whatever. It's a mistake. And I thought she was the Susie that I was matching with on a dating app, so I called her drunk. Bad idea. And she was being very disrespectful to me just for no reason, and she was actually one of my classmates, so it's even more jester that she was being that disrespectful. Completely unnecessary. She gave me a lot of sass, so I called her a fucking bitch, right? That's all I did. And then I hung up. And then, come to find out, she submitted a Title IX complaint against me. So of course I won because jurisdictions don't operate outside of universities. That one's not that bad, but she had accused me of sexual harassment, okay, for calling her a bitch, right? So these women are just kind of, some of them, much like a lot of guys, are waiting for an opportunity to jump on you, jump at you, whatever it is. The other girl that did something very similar actually accused me of sending her an unsolicited penis picture, which is a big deal. Like, you don't do that, especially on a university campus. But what ended up happening is I made a giant group chat with a bunch of girls. A lot of my ex-girlfriends were in there. And one of them decided to leak a picture of my penis to that girl. And she thought that that number was me. So she blindly, and actually knowingly, according to the evidence that she had provided, still went forward with accusing me of something I didn't do, despite knowing that that wasn't the case. So you have to be very careful who you talk to. Very, very careful. But even if you are careful, you'll try to get, like, these people that come after you, and they're just kind of looking for things to do. Maybe they want to feel like victims. I don't know what this is, but it's out there. It's predatory behavior. It's out there, and they will get you.
Yeah.
Can-
Yeah.
Could I tell you something also?
Sure. Go ahead.
I had a friend in college. I knew him for a very long time, and I had another childhood friend named Kritika. Um, what happened was she and me used to share email addresses. Some pictures of hers came happened because we were sharing email addresses, showed up in my email. This guy went and told everyone and tried to destroy my name that I hacked her. I didn't actually hack her.
Yeah,
He
that's
destroyed
insane. Holy
everything.
fuck.
Yeah, he went after my. I was working for three global that time, three global services. He tried to destroy. I don't even know why he did it. He was supposed to be my best friend, and he tried to destroy me in all. And she stopped talking to me for almost 15, 16 years. We recently reconnected, and we are friends again now. Me and her.
Jesus Christ, why are you friends with this broad?
I grew up with her. Any the
Yeah, but
guy
wait, but
who
hold
did
on.
this,
Didn't she just try to ruin your life and you're saying you want to be friends with her?
he didn't.
Why?
No, he didn't. She didn't try to ruin my life. He did. His name was
Oh, some
Christopher.
other guy tried to misinterpret the situation and make
Yes,
some bullshit about you.
he made up a story which wasn't true.
Yeah, yeah.
So we reconnected again, me and her, and we started talking again. And now I have her number and everything again.
Yeah.
But guess what happened to this guy? His bad ways turned against him. I guess karma does work, right?
Right, what
So
a
you know what happened?
jester. What happened?
He now lives on the roads.
Nice. Nice. Yeah, well, look, dude, I mean, people think this is a joke. Like, the human psychology will believe bad things about someone very quickly. Very, very quickly. And human psychology is more so skeptical about positive, complementary, trustworthy connections with people. If I go tell someone, hey, I'm a financial advisor, they go, are you really though? And then if I go tell someone, hey, you know, my ex was a convicted pedophile, they'll go, was she? Oh my God, that's so terrible. I'm sorry to hear that. They'll believe it immediately. People are quick to believe things that are bad, that are negative, that are sensationalized, that cause drama. It brings the dopamine to their brain, right? Especially high school, college students. You have to be very extremely careful. So, but that's the idea behind it. It's the
And
psychology behind it. And so I've
I'm
had
learning
terrible
that
reputation.
now.
Every school I've been to, I've had terrible reputations, but I still get a lot of women. And that's only because I'm relatively attractive. Because if I wasn't, I'd be in a lot of trouble. I'll tell you that much right
I'm,
now. It does depend on your looks. It
Well, that's
absolutely
no,
interesting.
depends on your
Like,
looks.
just to kind of like ask, like, get more clarity with what you just said, Alex. Like, because you mentioned like these examples are like amongst like college kids, high school kids. Is that it?
Yes, but college
I
kids
don't
are
think
also adults, right? They're 20, 22-year-olds, 21-year-olds.
sure,
You would
sure, but I
expect
do think
better
because of
behavior from them.
the
Yeah.
I agree. I agree. Like we gotta hold them accountable, and we want them to do better. Yes, but I'm also wondering, like, what if, like, I would still want to see a comparison between people who might have a bit more like life and like working experience stuff like that. So maybe like people in the 30s, 40s, 50s. Like, how would they engage with this? You know
Oh,
what I mean?
sure. Well, it's actually worse in the workplace. I'll tell you that much.
Oh,
It's worse in the
interesting.
workplace, and I'll tell you why. There's a higher expectation of professionalism in the workplace, and that's totally normal. That's totally fine. However, if a girl decides that you are not attractive to her, you can be considered a threat to her if you in any way, shape, or form imply something that you really shouldn't, right? So think
I
about
know
this,
that.
right? And I'm saying nothing but facts. This is not an opinion, these are just facts. According to the legal
No,
statutes, what it suggests is that sexual harassment is constituted as purely being specifically unwanted attention from a man or a woman. So the woman gets to decide in most cases, it could be the man as well, but the woman gets to decide in most cases whether or not the attention is wanted or unwanted. And that declares, legally speaking, whether or not it constitutes as sexual harassment or not. And this is why I think we need to have these conversations, because I think that is too flimsy and vague of a standard, and it will get a lot of people in trouble. And the last thing I'll say, right, Veridica, it's been polled that at least 75% of men in the workforce, with a 5% margin of error, would prefer to not share a space with a woman in an enclosed space alone while working because they feel that they would be uncomfortable in her description or recollection of the events. That is ridiculous. Men and women should not feel uncomfortable in workplace or professional settings, especially if they are alone. But the idea that they do and the idea that there's this much distrust for each other is very unhealthy for society. I'm sure you would not disagree.
I
can I
don't.
also add
I don't
to
disagree. Sorry, Isabel. Let me just quickly respond a little bit to what Alex has said. I don't disagree, but I'm also like curious to know how much of it has to do with like um culture, you know,
can
and also for also like how things like social media,
what
influence has kind of created this kind of like distrust. You know what I mean?
what if I have a response to your question, and to compile with what he said. So it's do you know, if you know, being an Indian, I mean, you were an Indian before, that in India, sexual violence is can only, it's according to Indian law, by the way, and I'm not even kidding. Sexual violence can only be committed by men. That is the law in India. I don't know if you know this.
Oh,
Right, yeah.
but I've heard that in other countries they do the same thing too to some degree. Like I think it was
No,
it in the UK, I think, where like it was only very recently they changed it, but like apparently like they can only basically the
it
act
can
of
only come from a
penetration
man.
is yeah, is the act of penetration that is seen as like the assault. And
But
so
then,
yeah,
but then in
so
recent times, women have been raping men. But
yeah,
that does not count as a as rape. That counts as something else. I forgot the word. I
at
forgot the
least sexual assault, hopefully. Like
Oh, but
oh
it
my god.
doesn't count as rape, because only men can rape a woman. That's the law in India.
Like, is it
Women
because
do
the is
men
it
and boys at schools, but that they don't use the same word. They call it something else.
is it because of the act of like the penetration that is what?
Not penetration.
Yeah,
It's
it's
molestation.
because of penetration. Yeah,
It's
changed.
molestation also.
It's been changed
But
in several places now where rape can be constituted as something other than just penetration.
so do you know what the Indian youth minister said quite
Oh,
recently?
yeah.
The Indian
What?
youth minister said that eating non-veg, chicken, fish, adds to the heat in the man's body to rape. Have you heard about this?
Oh no, no, I have not. But I'm not surprised that someone would say that. Like a culture that it's like hold up like vegetarianism as like a as like a what do you call it, like a virtue, right? A veganism, vegetarianism, believing that is not like surprising to me, I guess.
Not, but you know the shit happens.
That is funny. That is so funny to me.
Yeah,
Oh my
exactly.
god.
So
Well, so you
I
can
love
take.
KFC.
Go ahead.
I haven't done anything to anybody
I believe
except
you.
puke today.
I believe you. Me on the other hand, I have. No, I'm kidding. Um, so you know what I do now is I stay away from the little girls, right? And 18-year-olds they're nice, they're great, they're malleable, they're fertile, they're submissive, they're attractive, whatever. That's the idea. They're skinny, they have thigh gaps, A cups. I like all of that. But you take a step away from that for 2 seconds at a college campus, and they approach you all the time. They'll kind of talk to you, they'll waste their time, they'll waste your time, whatever. But I go on LinkedIn, as you can see right now on my live stream, and I contact professional women, women who are self-proclaimed, business starters, CEOs, accounting majors, whatever. And I'll flirt with them because they can read between the lines a little bit more. They're more mature. They're less volatile options, right? So investing, you don't want to throw all your money at crypto. You want to invest in the S&P 500 because it's representative of like 14 sectors, whatever. But the idea is this. It's an easier cost-benefit analysis to communicate with older women because they're a lot more transparent. And frankly, they are a lot more direct, which saves you a lot of time. You're also interacting with people that are high value. That's the most important thing, gentlemen and women, is finding people that are just mature. Maturity is one of the most important things that you can select for. Anything else is gesture. It's completely gesture. If you're gonna rail a girl for the night, that's a completely different conversation. If you like a guy for the night, that's a different conversation. We're talking about valuable connections here. So LinkedIn is great for this. And if you use code average frat guy 15, you can get 15% off. No, I'm kidding. But it's a great platform. I love it
I
so
almost
much.
banned you. I almost
I'm
banned you.
joking. I'm joking. But seriously, I love this app so much. It's done wonders for me. Go ahead.
For me, I just this is a very interesting like thing I'm seeing right now because like I've heard of people using LinkedIn as like a dating like a dating thing. I'm seeing it for the first time actually. This is really interesting, bizarre.
You shouldn't be
I've only
upfront with the
done this
fact
for
that you're
work.
trying to date people on this app. But if a girl likes you, she is going to positively respond to the attention that you're giving her, right?
Okay,
That's the
I
idea.
see.
You don't want to be unprofessional on these apps because you will get your ass stretched. You will get grilled. You just want to
Sis,
be subtle with it.
Are,
You want to be subtle with it, right? So real quick, like look at the way I'm talking to her, right? My minor is in female psychology, so I know what I'm talking about. Nobody know whatever, right? You kind of flirt with her.
yeah, no
It's
chance.
a
Yeah.
slow grade, whatever, right? But she's
sounds
entertaining it.
insane.
She's entertaining it. And a woman at this age, junior in college, she kind of knows what she
Okay.
wants. She's not going to waste her time with a guy she's not interested in. As long as the woman is responding, she's giving positive stimuli, she's engaging with the conversation. These are all good signs, good indicators, right?
Yeah, sure. I just think this is a little interesting, a little
This is
bizarre. I think
very strange.
I'm just this is just like a way out of my own experience with dating and stuff like that. But I'm not. I don't live in the West, and I am a very different type of person as well. I'm
Sure,
very
sure. I'm sure you're modest
assertive.
and you're a lot more hidden from the world. That's totally fine. But what we do here in the West, I mean, this is the most modest thing you can do. because you're
I can't.
saying, hey, we have a
Oh,
shared interest, let's just talk. That's all it
is
is.
this like the new? Is this the new method now? Because like I think I don't know how
For
true
me,
this is
it
anymore, but
is.
like okay, basically a lot of like the more traditional dating apps, right? Like Bumble, Hinge, whatever. Like the female to male ratio is pretty sad, right? Like I think a lot of women don't tend to use those apps as
Yes,
much.
the only women who are using dating apps are looking to get confidence from the dating apps and the attention. That's what they're doing. Because I would say
Okay.
they self-proclaim this, right? They all say this themselves. They go, I'm not even here for dates. I'm just here to see. I mean, one of my friends downloaded this app for me. I'm not willing to go on any dates, whatever. Look, I've taken a lot of girls on dates. If I text a girl and I go, I want to get to know you more, blah, 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 we trade information a little bit. And then I say, are you free this weekend? She goes, um, I don't know. We'll see. I'll let you know. That means
This
no. You unmatch her, you block her, you move on, you delete the app. Because a lot of them do that. They try to adjust your
Yeah,
max. They try
I,
to
I
like
agree.
waste your time. They whatever. Those answers always mean no to me, and you should treat them like no. If you're
The
ever
only reason you
uncertain,
should talk to women is because you want to fuck their pussy.
yeah,
There's no other
dating
reason to
apps
talk
are
to them.
like women on dating apps and men on dating apps are like disposable plates. You use it once, you throw it away, right?
Yeah,
That's yeah,
yeah. I only
100%.
talk. I hate women. The only reason I talk to them is because I want to put my pee pee inside their pussy. Like I have no other objective besides that. You know, women are terrible people.
I just think this is quite bizarre, I guess.
What do you think it's
You
bizarre
said
for
what?
people to interact with shared interests in professional markets, jobs, career development,
I don't know.
universities? I think that's actually the most normal thing in the world.
No, I just think like because the idea seems to be it's a little I don't know, like a little deceptive, like I don't know.
Deceptive? Well, let me ask you this. If at the end of it we get married, was it deceptive or was it consensual?
Uh
Right.
I don't know.
But you're
I
I
mean,
talking
don't
to a
know.
woman though. She
look how
doesn't really
fast she's
know. Like
responding, right? Like, there's no way she's not
you're
interested.
talking to a woman. So a woman doesn't really know. Like in her mind, like it wouldn't be deceptive even if it was deceptive.
Yeah. Well, women and men just think differently. You know, they do. They
Bro,
utilize
just
different
block.
they
I don't know
utilize
why she's
different
not
parts of their brain.
blocking.
this
I would block like 5 messages ago, maybe even longer than that.
Do you think she would
I
have
don't
you think she should block me? Is that what you're saying?
I don't know. I don't know
yes
what she should do. I don't know
Well, I
what she
mean, look, right?
wants.
Look at all this. She's flirting with me, right? She's laughing at my jokes. It's generally not difficult to see or notice if a woman is unattracted or attracted to you. I think it's very easy to tell.
That start the LARP though. I think maybe you should just rape her. I think that's the answer. Just rape. That's the
Dude,
final solution. Yeah, just
dude.
rape.
No. I'm not. Can we not do that, please? Can we not do that, please? I don't want my server, like my VC, to be like that, please.
You're being very generous. Yeah, I admire how many chances you've given this guy. But hold on. So you see how she's like kind of, sure, right? She's keeping it kind of mysterious. You don't want to read into this too much. That's fine. We're gonna hit her with a reaction emoji. We're gonna hit her with a reaction image, right? So, where's my phone at? Fuck, it's too far. Hold on. We'll just tell her this.
tell who me.
No. You can look at the screen. Oh no, are you sure about that? Oh, okay, wait. Okay, I don't know. Go ahead, I guess.
Watch this. Hold on.
Who?
Watch this. Wait up. Where is it? Where is it? Yes, you are. Fuck my dick hurts. Sorry. Didn't mean to say that out loud. Self-care, politics. We're gonna hit her with this reaction image. Okay. To loosen her up a little bit. Socially, of
No, but
course.
like, why? Okay, wait. What? Actually, okay, wait. Can you like, why did you? What did you put that? Like, what did you put gesture maxing?
Because she knows about Lux Maxing and she's made references to it before. She goes, why are you listening to Lux Maxing music? She's very obviously the personality of a man, which is reflective of her major, right? Because most women that go into accounting grow up with approximately 2 to 3 brothers. They have a hard life. usually a more masculine personality. Archetypes, right? Archetypes are a very real thing, and most people adhere to them. They embrace them. So I told her earlier, right? Let's dissect this truly. I said, really? You know about looks maxing music? I said, well, you are a woman in accounting, right? So inevitably you're going to have the personality of a man, which is totally fine. It's a good thing that you can compete, so you can compete. Most girls would absolutely, without a fucking doubt, have blocked you after saying that. But because she's attracted to me, she goes, Lamal, right? She's laughing. Yeah, I know too much. She's agreeing with me. She's being submissive, right? She's taking the submissive role. Whatever, right? And then I go, how many brothers do you have? 3? I overguessed it by 1. She goes 2, but I'm the baby. She's basically like a cat laying on her back while I'm rubbing her stomach, right? She's flowing with the conversation. It's organic. It's natural. She's not complaining about how I'm being unprofessional, yada yada, right? That's the idea. And nobody understands women better than I do. Seriously. I can read them like a book.
Okay.
I beg to differ.
Let me go get some ice for this drink. Stand by, gentlemen and women.
Yeah.
Sis,
Hi. Yes. Yes, Isabel.
I don't like what he's saying.
I know. I know. It do be like that. It do be like that. Sometimes. But we'll see. We'll see.
But he's being very weird.
So, do you remember I was talking? I, and the admin were talking about like maybe I'm not sure. Maybe you haven't joined yet, right? But there was this like phenomena that I've noticed is like a lot of like the online world is seeping into real world like that type of new culture.
Yeah.
I
Okay.
feel like this is an example of it. I mean, considering like because only obviously it's very anecdotal at this point because I'm only going off of like my own experiences with how technology has shaped like things like dating experiences and how
But
we look at the world and everything.
yeah, but he literally can say whatever the heck he wants and get away with it.
You mean, are you talking about specifically in his like this dating thing that he's doing right now?
Yes, he's literally flirting with you. I don't even know how. And he's also he's talking crap also a lot of crap. He's saying he can read a woman like a book. It
Uh,
makes no sense to me.
I mean, sure, they can say things doesn't mean it's true, right? Like, it's I don't know,
No.
it's fine.
That's why I
It's
kept saying this to you because you're the admin of this group.
well, he hasn't really done anything for me to like. I mean, we can challenge him. We should challenge him. I guess we see, like, I'm hoping he can hear everything right now. Honestly speaking, I'm really hoping he can hear us, but I don't know.
He most likely is hearing everything we're saying because, but he's not. Uh, the point is that some of it what he said was sounding very anti-feminist, and I didn't like many of the things he said. But you were I have no idea where you get your strength from, but you're very tolerating it.
I think it's just by virtue of like being in this server a lot. I mean, I have listened to a lot of this shit before. So it's kind of like okay, you're one of those. You can. It's just kind of
Okay.
I'm taking it in stride in that sense, I suppose.
Alright,
But
I'm back. So, Baby 3, this is actually, I would like to introduce both of you guys. From what I got from this conversation, you guys are Indian. This is my Punjabi friend, Baby 3. She's a very good person.
okay, hi, baby three.
Hello.
Hi. But also, Alex, I don't know if you were listening in to what me.
I'm sorry, you cut
Oh,
out. What did you say?
did you happen to hear what me and Isabel were talking about? Because I'm not sure if like you could hear us, but then or like
Yeah, I can hear you faintly, very faintly from the kitchen. I have my speakers on, so. But, I
okay,
mean, go ahead, yeah.
so we kind of have a like we would just kind of want to push back a bit on like what on like the stuff that you've been
Sure,
sharing
yeah,
right now.
sure.
Yeah. So like a kind of thing that I had a discussion with this with Isabel and a few other people before was that like there's just like it seems like this new generation because of the technology, the way technology is right now, compared to we're a lot older, so we remember a different time, pre social media like time, and we just wonder like how much of like the online world is kind of seeping into the real world, and I just kind of feel I
Right.
think both of us we feel this like little like I don't know what is like the it's like a almost like a uncanny valley.
Skepticism,
Yeah,
hesitancy.
yeah, or like even yeah, like kind of thing, correct? Because based off of that, and then like
It's
the
a
way like
little jarring. Maybe it's a little
mm,
degenerate or intrusive or inappropriate or immodest.
yeah, like especially listening to like a guy say like, "Oh, I'm the best at female psychology," it can be a little bit
Sure,
strange.
sure.
Yes, brother.
Well, here's the thing, right? I have grown to understand women because I never did, right? This is something that I always wanted to do, but it never made sense to me, and that's why I didn't understand it because I expected it to make sense, right? And I know this sounds kind of gesture, but the reality is this. The only way that you can understand people, broadly speaking, is by putting them in categories. And now there are some people that deviate from, archetypes. They're outliers. They're very individualistic personalities. And my goal is not to exploit women. It's not to take advantage of them. It's not to bait and switch them. It's
Then
not to
why do
mislead
you
them.
say it's for
Wait,
blowjobs?
My
Why do you say
goal,
everything you do is for
my,
blowjobs?
I never said
I
that. I
will let
never
the
said.
public watch
My
this
goal
video
with
because
women is to understand them further so that I can
no, no.
offer them something in exchange while entertaining them and being very clear with my intentions. It's just that you have to be easy with them. You have to ease into things. Women are, and you can correct me if you think I'm wrong on this. This is the last claim I'll make because I know I've been talking a lot. I don't want to be disrespectful to you or your space. Um, I'm not trying to objectify women, but they love delayed
Oh, where
gratification.
the
That's
hell
why
am
that's
I?
why they like movies.
I
That's why
have to
they
interrupt.
like books. And I make these generalizations as a useful tool so that I can logically deduce what type of behaviors they are pleased or entertained or stimulated by in
No,
hopes
no,
that we
definitely.
develop not just a valuable connection maybe as friends, but potentially something in the future. And I will be very transparent about this so that she can consent to that, right? Nobody respects consent more than I do. That's a fact.
Okay, I have to interrupt you in so many senses of these of the things that you said. One, you not every human being, not every person that you can judge as women, saying that yes, you can see women as this and that and blah. We're all different people. Okay, she is different. Vertica is different. I'm different. Baby three is different. You're different. You can't generalize women and under one umbrella. That's number one. Number two, what was your second point, sis?
Uh, Me? Okay, I was gonna agree with you, Isabel. I think like to some degree, like I think the whole categorizing and everything, we've all heard about this. Like we're all online. We've heard about this in the red pill culture, in incel spaces and stuff like that. Like the categorizing, uh people in terms of like how they what they're like and everything, it can come across as very like to some degree very like a little dehumanizing. I don't know how to explain it, and I can't think of the right word, but it just feels a
Sure,
little
sure,
strange. Yeah.
sure.
You can't generalize people. Everybody is different. Everybody's feelings, emotions, and everybody is different. You can't put everyone under one umbrella and say that this is how women are and this is what I can do and this is what I can say. That is so egotistical. If you don't understand, it's very egotistical.
Right.
I don't know if
Yeah,
I'm
because
pronouncing it correct.
Go ahead, yeah.
like you generalizing about women is you talking about the generalization of the women that have been around you and your experiences with women and the things that you've
Correct.
read. So that's like could be a very certain orbit type of woman. And so you're
Correct.
generalizing
Yes.
using a neat like a category.
Correct, but it's also science. It's also predictive pattern
It's not a
behavior.
science.
It's also
Don't
general
use science in that
interests,
way.
right? So I'm trying to be respectful and put this as kindly as I can. The reality is that the majority of people fall into archetypes, right? And that doesn't mean that the majority of people are
That's it.
exactly the same, right? My goal is, again, one of the first things I said in this conversation was I accept and I believe that some people are true outliers. They express their personality in very unique ways. I'm respectful of that, number one, because I'm exactly that. I think for myself. I've never fallen for propaganda. I've always been a critical thinker that asks questions, and I think there's nothing more beautiful than that. And that's why I get to know people at an individual scale. But the thing is this, most people react, most people behave, most people fall into archetypes. They fall into general pattern behaviors,
That is
right?
not true.
That is a
And I don't
simple
agree on this
fact.
point.
It is a simple fact, and you can treat people like individuals, but there are some safe assumptions that you can make, right? So let me
No,
just give you an example, because I really don't think we disagree. For instance,
I think we
I,
highly
I I'm
disagree.
I'm never, well, let me
You're
just give
talking
you an
about
example, and you
like
can tell me if you disagree or not. I'm never gonna hit up a girl and be like, "Hey, baby, want to do this and that in my car?" Because most women are not receptive to that. They love delayed gratification. That's why they read books. That's why they enjoy movies. That's why they like tales. And that's not even my intention to begin with. So I'm not doing anything wrong. I'm establishing an interest with a woman based on our career field, our background, our experience at the same school that we go to. We're sharing experiences. So you guys may be seeing the shallow elements of how I'm communicating with this woman, but prior in the conversation, we're relating. We're being familiar. We're number one, the same race. We're number two, going to the same school. Number three, studying the same exact thing. Number four, think the same exact thing about all the people at our school. And we have better goals that are similar. I mean, there's nothing more beautiful than interacting with someone that complements your personality and accentuates the value of a conversation through familiarity. I mean, you guys can tell me if I'm wrong. I don't think there's anything unethical about this conversation. She can block me whenever she wants. She was very clearly not doing so, though, right? And that's a positive response.
the, some parts of your conversation are sincere. Other parts of your conversation aren't sound very egotistic, where you're judging women on all aspects and generalizing it. That's where that's where the problem begins,
Okay.
because you can't do that. The reason why you can't do that is because not everyone is alike. Not everyone is the same person. If
No,
you're
they're
going to
not. I
generalize,
agree.
if you're going to generalize, that would indicate that we are all clones, which we are not.
No, no, no. I think you're misunderstanding.
Therefore,
Go ahead.
some parts of your conversation are good. She will agree with me on that. But
Like I
Sure.
other
think
parts of your
Go ahead, yeah.
conversation is not good. So you need to really think about what you're saying in public.
I feel like one way I feel I agree with everything Isabel has said, yes, and but also like one way I can kind of make it make sense from my perspective is like I
Sure.
think it's just it comes across as very it's almost like the women are being treated like machines. They're like in kind of it's very almost like a you're programming them to some degree, or like rather you believe there's some type of program that already
I
exists, and
see.
you're just kind of yeah.
I see.
But I can I the thing is I do see like how in some ways in the current dating climate some of these things have to be employed. I don't necessarily think like it's
Right.
very correct,
Yeah.
but really I just think like okay I'm just gonna give examples of like
Take your time. Yeah.
my own like okay my own social media
Sure.
algorithm, right? It's like it's very much like very female centered. It's like and I what happens is I hear about stories from people from women who talk about how like okay men are hitting me up on LinkedIn, it's fucking cringe, blah blah blah. Okay, and then
Yeah, yeah, sure.
yeah
I'm sure a lot of
so
it is. I'm sure a lot of it is. But a lot of guys really don't know how to talk to women. They suck at talking to women really bad.
so that's the thing. So like because there seems to be this idea of like you need to kind of there's like a plan, like there's like a you kind of like you have like a script in your brain on how to interact, right? I
Yes,
can
yes,
see how
sure,
some women
sure.
yeah I can see how some women find it off-putting to some degree, but of course probably not these type of women, I guess. But I don't know
What
I
do you
really
mean
don't
by
know. In
these
the
type
West
of
it's
women? Do
different.
you look down on them for
No,
positive or smart? Go ahead.
No,
no. Sorry. I poor choice of words. What I'm
No,
trying to
it's
say is
okay.
like
I'm
women
just
from the
joking.
West,
I'm just
like
joking.
yeah, women from the West, women who have a little bit different like in like way that they have socially integrated, right? Like in a sense that like if you've grown up mostly using a lot of social media, interacting with people, media, meeting people for the first time on social media, you're probably fine with these types of interactions. But
Right.
then for people who are more likely to feel a connection in person with people, this is just not gonna work for
Sure,
them,
of
right?
course, of course.
Yeah.
And look, getting women should not be your goal. It should never be your goal. It should never be your goal to get a woman, right? What your goal should be is to attract people to you in general and surround yourself with diverse groups of people so that you understand societies better. And this is what I try to do in general, but flirting with girls, getting along with them, having them positively react to stimuli, that's a bonus, right? That is a bonus. And frankly, maybe what the way that I'm approaching this is off-putting to certain cultures, but that's what the start of this entire conversation was about. It's that you're never really going to be able to make everyone happy. You shouldn't try to, but you should be respectful. That I agree with 100%. I think everybody's different in their own ways, but I think people are also similar in many more ways. For instance, most people's behavior can be predicted. There's an entire field of academia based on this. It's called social behavior, right? It's called behavioral analysis. If you talk to a forensic analyst, people that judge people, let's say they look up and to the left, that means they're lying. It's not always correct. But humans are actually, believe it or not, very, very predictable creatures, right? They over-explain things when they're lying, they don't make eye contact, etc., etc. And pattern recognition is something that I, as a very analytical man in finance, pay very close attention to, because I can tell when girls are uncomfortable and I can tell when they're comfortable. And that's a very important skill that you need to learn as a man very early in your life. Unfortunately, a lot of men do not teach this, but it's very important. And I can tell that this girl right now that I'm talking to, I mean, look, she's saying, you're gesture maxing like everyone else on LinkedIn. I respond to her with something a little bit more aggressive, but respectful. I say careful. I say careful because that would include you, and I give her this funny, freaky cat gif, right? And she says, wait, true? Maybe I am a bit. So she retracts, she submits, and puts me in a position of authority again. Again, this is all factual. This is just what's happening in the conversation, right? She's doing this because she respects me. She's doing this because she looks up to me, right? So that's the idea. Well, she's showing me, right? That's how we know this. She's showing it.
Okay.
It's
Okay,
very
for
easy to
example,
read. It's very easy to read.
I have another. I'm so sorry,
Go ahead,
Isabel.
yeah.
It was a really quick thing. Like, just want to quickly respond to something Alex
Yeah.
said. It was like, because like you mentioned how like she's being submissive, whatever, giving it to you and everything. Like you don't really know what her plan might be next, right? Like her mind could just be like, you know what, I'm just gonna play with this guy for a bit. I'm just gonna block him after like 1 or 2 hours, right?
Sure.
I've done that before. Okay, I've done
Sure.
that before. So like I think like so I don't know how like you're making those like assumptions, I guess. Yeah, how you're making those assumptions.
Well, they're
is-
hardly assumptions. That's the reality, right? Because let me ask you this. Do you think that if she wasn't willing to submit to the things that I was saying, she'd be responding the same way? It's a simple question.
Like could be just curiosity. I don't know. Like when you say submit, what do you mean? Because like
When I
would
say
sometimes
submit, I
what
don't
think
mean
the man wants to hear.
let me be
I
very
might say
clear. I don't mean
yeah.
sexually submit, right? There's no sexual or intimate relation attached to the word submit. Submit just means retracting her challenging. She's no longer challenging me. She's saying, hey, you know what? You're actually right about that. I didn't even really think about that. That is her acknowledging that I have taken the superior intellectual position. She is by proxy being submissive. That's not hard to read. That's not like this complicated rocket science. That is just human behavior. When a girl, let me give you a clear example. When you go to let's say a coffee shop, right? And a girl's being relatively aggressive with things. She's kind of out of her tone. She's whatever. She's kind of acting out of line. She shouldn't be giving workers or customers attitude, but she's maybe upset that day. Then a 6'4" Chad Light walks in, muscular guy, whatever, very deep voice, kind of like mine. He starts talking to her. Hey, can I just get this, that, the other, whatever? And she raises her pitch. She's suddenly nicer. She's suddenly more feminine. Maybe she even flirts and writes a smiley face on the cup. What do you think that is? That's positive reaction to stimuli. Women in the presence of masculine men become more feminine. It is just their subconscious override. They have no control over it, zero control over it. That's a fact.
There was a term that you had mentioned, something about social behavior. Something about that you said, you used the term.
Yeah.
I disagree with that term completely because I did study sociology and I did study psychology. So I completely 100% disagree with.
Okay, that's good. I like disagreeing. Let's hear your points. But give me 2 seconds. I actually do have to use the restroom. It'll take maybe 20 seconds. I'll be right back.
Hmm.
Sis, I don't agree with him at all. And many of the
It's
things that
fine.
he's saying is, I know you're tolerating it. I don't know how, but you have the strength of, I don't know how.
I've heard worse. I have spoken to worse. So don't worry. Like, yeah, for real, I've spoken to worse. This is
The,
very
the,
mild, actually. This is like level one, maybe. Like, or like even like, yeah, level one, level two. Like, it's very mild.
then you're sort of teaching me because I mean, I don't know. He's very demeaning. The things that he's saying,
Yeah,
it's all rubbish.
yeah. Like that's the problem is that I feel, man, okay, I'd rather wait for him to come back before I share this. But I mean, like, because it feels like I'm like refuting his points, but he can't defend himself. Um, like, it's
You-
just online
It,
culture. I don't know.
I'm learning smoothly,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
I like the way you respond. You respond very diplomatically, very diplomatically. I'm like on the face, but you are. Jeez, I'm learning from you.
Mm-mm. Thanks. My gosh.
Yeah, thanks for the lesson.
Yeah, I'm gonna take some notes down so that I remember like his points and I
Mm,
can like explore that with him in a bit.
No, I'm learning a lot from you. You're kicking ass already. Very diplomatic. I don't know how um I'm again lost for words.
Okay,
But
so
in a good
I
way. I mean it in a good way for you. Sorry, you were saying.
oh, sorry. I'm just like because I'm like because I'm just typing out like my like points that I want to address. I'm trying to
Okay,
remember like okay um the
that's what
current
exactly happened. I was trying to talk this guy, and then I forgot the second point, and then I said, then I called you out, and then you immediately. So thank you for that. I forgot the second point.
yeah
All right, I'm back.
yeah
So,
hi
so you
hi
were suggesting that you went to school for sociology and that you heavily refute social pattern recognition and behavioral analysis.
I didn't go to school. I went to college.
Well, that's a school, right? It's an academic institution. But
No,
that's
it's
okay. You know, we can disagree about the real
okay.
meaningful stuff. Let's not miss the forest for the trees.
So basically, some of the terms that you indicated did not match up with the criteria. Okay, so do you know about psychology, and do you know psychology is the study of human behavior,
Yes, that's
and
correct. Yeah.
sociology is the study of society.
Yeah. I took a couple classes in psychology. That was a very unfortunate experience.
Yeah,
Um,
but I had to pass the exams. Anyways,
sure. Yeah.
the
Go
point
ahead.
what I'm trying, the point that you were making about the things that you were saying, some parts of it, like I said before, is okay, not good, but okay. Many other parts that you said were completely 100% incorrect about how you, so like I was suggesting psychology, the way you talk about women, you are wrong in a lot of ways. So I mean, I'm more direct. My sis is better than me, I would say. I'm gonna shut up now.
um,
Well, I mean, I noticed that you're positing claims about how I'm demeaning women or that I'm being a little reductive and dehumanizing in nature, but I'd like to see exactly what I've said that you can point to as an example that would indicate this. You know, I don't think I've been like explicitly demeaning to women in any way.
yeah, what I would see you as, like, for example, right, like, okay, we have all these dating culture that has been like kind of become a bit more mainstream over the past 10 years or so, especially because of social media. No thanks to a lot of like manosphere content online, if you get what I mean, right? A lot of that has been pretty nasty. I hope you agree with me, right? Um, and I think that in many ways, a lot of women, I would say, kind of have like this hypervigilance when it comes to. I mean, this is just based off of like my algorithm. I don't know. Maybe that's very, very skewed to a specific direction, but like there has been like this idea that women automatically are more hypervigilant about certain type of terminology that men use when they talk to them, and it's off-putting. It basically is very off-putting. They may not necessarily always just own up to the fact that, oh yeah, this is like someone like that and I'm just gonna stop engaging with them. Sometimes they might engage. I don't like, but that's what I've noticed in these spaces. So like, okay, what I have like some questions. I was trying to come up with questions based off of some of the stuff that you were saying a while ago, right? So like, I'm curious to know what you think. Like how do you think, like I noticed in your conversation with that one woman how like you kind of already talked about how like everything about female psychology, like kind of like your gesture maxing, all that. You're just kind of like putting some truth out there for them, right?
Right, yeah.
But all your explanation that you've just given to both me and Isabel so far, right? What do you think the reaction of that woman would be when they heard all of those explanations? Like,
Oh, they would
what do you
hate it.
think?
They would absolutely hate it. They would detest it. They would
Okay.
reject it. They would react negatively. They would disengage entirely. And I'll explain very
So this is
briefly
the
why if you're interested, but I'll let you respond.
really quickly. So I think that's the part where like it's very like there's this like a deception there, the aspect of deception, right? So a lot of the times, if the women are actually engaging in this idea where like the conversation is going from like kind of like in a very automatic, organic way, actually there's a lot of this like
Analytical breakdown and analysis.
extreme analysis and a
Yes.
script
Yeah.
that's formed,
Yeah.
and that
Yeah,
can
they
be
hate
a
that.
bit of a
They
turn
hate
off
that.
for a lot of women.
Yeah, women hate
yes,
that. Women
yes,
hate that.
yes.
Let me explain why this
Yes.
is the case, right? And some of this is experience-based, some of it is anecdotal, but the reality is that it's general truth, right? So let's get into this. The premise that women interpret language differently is literally factual. It is because they utilize more of their left and right brain than men do. It is a literal fact. It is a psychological reality, right? Different chemical reactions occur inside of a female's brain. Men and women are just different mentally. They are. So you have to be very careful with how you present information to them, and you have to be very careful with how you manage relationships in general. Because a lot of times the reason why there's so many fights in between relationships is because people just miscommunicate, right? They're just not great communicators. I'm sure you would never disagree with this. We've all been in relationships where communicating is just not the best. People misinterpret what we say. They get the wrong idea. But so part of the reason as to why these women would hate the idea of this in-depth, heavy level analysis is simply because they're not attracted to preemptive planning. They like things to kind of be drawn out. They like a good, positive, organic story. They're not really attracted to this like harsh reality type of deal where a man fully understands how she will respond, maybe read her very well, right? It's just the way it is. And you can say that it's biological. You can say part of it is sociological. That's totally fine. I wouldn't dispute that at all. A lot of it's cultural. Growing up, a lot of women are told, hey, don't fall for this guy, fall for that guy, get the guy with this, don't get the guy with that. I get it, but it's certainly undeniable. It's irrefutable that women just interpret language differently than men, and that's why they would get turned off by my explanations, which is why I don't say that to them. But again, how many women privately tell their friends about relationships with their boyfriends and secretly disclose information that is supposed to be private between them and their husbands? A lot of women do that. And if a lot of men heard their wives talking about them the way that they do, those men themselves would get the divorce. I can absolutely guarantee that, because most divorces are, first of all, the number one reason of divorce is cheating. Most men cheat. But a big reason as to why people divorce, more specifically women, they divorce at a higher rate, is because other women who are around them convince them to get a divorce because they think they can do better. And I think, personally, and you guys can disagree with this, but I think if you're in a relationship with someone, or you're having private conversations with someone, it should not be ethical, it should not be appropriate to disclose those private details to somebody else without their consent. I think that's very disrespectful and degrading. So go ahead.
Yes.
I'm going to have a ball listening to you guys try to disagree with anything I said because it's really hard to disagree with. Go ahead.
I, the major issue that I have with everything that you said was when you're using terms in science and then you're going off topic and going somewhere else. You can't use psychology and then go somewhere else at the end of it. Because when you're using the word psychology and you're talking about science, you're stepping into my turf. That's my major issue with whatever you just said. Secondly, you're talking about private relationships and private conversations. You might have a conversation with a woman that may be private. It's not the same with everyone in the world. Again, you're generalizing. That's my major issue.
Sure, but I mean, you have to point out one sentence in particular that you disagree with, right? Because at this point,
The,
and not to be
the most
disrespectful,
current,
but I find that your criticisms are very vague, right? They're very accusatory. They're very
it's
vague.
not vague
I,
because
I,
you
I would,
spoke a
I would, I
lot
would
about
just,
a lot
I,
of
well, I
things.
would just like for you to tell me a particular sentence or point in which you disagree, right? So
In a nutshell,
firstly, I mean, I'm talking about different things, so I'm going to go off of track, but all of it is, I mean, entirely valid to me. So I'd like to see which parts particularly you disagree with. And this isn't me coming at you, I'm just trying to investigate this further.
I'm not coming at you too, but then in a nutshell, you spoke about a lot of things. You jumped sciences, and
Sure, yeah.
then you actually spoke about psychology in between, and then you talked about social behavior, sociology initially in the last conversation, and then you went to psychology,
Right.
and then you went into generalizing women and secrets, and
Well,
I don't know which
yeah,
topic
yeah,
to
yeah.
cover.
But here's the thing. All of the we're talking about human behavior. Let me ask you this. Is human behavior not multifaceted? Does it not depend on cultural, sociological, environmental, and physical and biological elements? Of course it does.
It
I'm
is.
sure you out of everybody in here, you the psychology major would absolutely accept and agree that that is like the fact. It is
I
the
would
fact.
agree that I
100%.
would agree
100%.
that I would agree that human behavior changes as circumstances come across. But what you were suggesting was different from what I'm saying right now. You were suggesting a certain type of archetype behavior for each and every woman, which I completely disagree with. You said it like this is the fourth time you said it actually, but you just changed the language.
Right, but so this is what I mean at the
That's
end of
what
the
I
day, right?
disagree with.
What I'm meaning to say at the end of the day is that there are compounding issues, there are compounding reasons to consider variables, environmental, physiological, neurological elements that we must include in this conversation. And if you think that I'm gish galloping or that I'm being somehow uncharitable or bouncing around, it's because there's just so much information to account for. And I'm trying to be as fair as possible and include all of that to gather a bigger picture of what humans really do and why they do it, right? So
That's
that
but
is the central focus of psychology, is understanding what humans
no, it's
do and
not.
what they do, what is involved, the variables, right? So it's so much information, but I'm really trying to compress all of it into telling you, ultimately, my goal is not to exploit women. I don't think you disagree with what I'm saying. I think you disagree with how I'm saying it, right?
No, I disagree with what you're saying. It because I'm not disagreeing. I'm disagreeing with how you're saying it and what you're saying also.
Okay, fair.
Because
So what point particularly, right? Like what point? Let's
you're
just
using
choose any of
I'm
them. Just choose any of them. Anything I said. Go ahead.
generalizing women.
Right, but that's very vague, right? Like, was there something I
You
said or
okay,
something particular?
let me put it into context then.
Go ahead, yeah.
You put a certain type of human beings, their gender, in one group, and then you said that this is how they behave, and this is how they always will behave, and this is what I need to do to talk to them, and this and that. She heard it, I heard it.
Yeah, yeah.
It didn't sound cool, to be
Right,
honest.
right,
And
right,
then you
right.
use science to explain that thing, which you were again wrong on, because
Okay,
that's
okay.
not how psychology works,
Right.
and neither that's
Let's
how
go through this.
sociology
Let's
works.
go through this, right? Let's go through this. So, is it a fact or is it not a fact that women utilize both their left and right side of their brain more than men do? Is that a fact?
Not always.
Not
Again,
always? Okay,
that's
well,
that's
hang on. You answer the question, let me
okay.
respond.
Go.
So you said not always. Here's my response. Not always Those are what we consider statistical outliers. But biologically, most women, this is the case for most women. So even though it's a generalization, it's true about 99% of women. Most women
I need a
neurologically
source.
function with both sides of their brain as
Need-
opposed to just one. That is a literal fact.
No, I need a source.
Okay.
You're
No. That's
going.
fair. That's fair. I can cite you a source on that because I think this is where we disagree, right? Because I'm sure you know this. Like you sound pretty educated. You sound like you speak English pretty well. I respect that, and I'm going to face you with this truth here. The reality is, generalizations are useful to determine what is the case for the vast majority of people, but they shouldn't be used to preemptively determine or assume that this is the case for everyone. Correct or incorrect?
I disagree.
Then you're just wrong, buddy. I mean, that's how science works. Generalizations can be
That's not
useful
how
to
science works.
determine statistical breakdowns of what majority of people apply to. That's a
I'm
fact.
sorry.
I think you need to
So
get a refund for your
science
degree because, I mean, this is just science 101. This is like stats 101.
101. That is not how science works, my friend.
No, it is. It is.
Science.
It literally is.
No.
Let me get some ice for my drink. Hold on. Just give me a second.
Oh. Sorry. You need to go back to school. I'm sorry. That's not how science works. I'll leave it to my sis to take over.
Hi, sorry, I'm here. I was listening, but I was far from the laptop. I'm here. Um, whoa, yeah, a lot was said, a lot was discussed. It was like, whoa, a lot of stuff. But man, I need to take down notes. I need to take down notes. Be a lot of stuff. But like Isabel, I'm wondering. I don't know if you can hear me here. Damn.
Sorry. Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah. Like you guys had like a very interesting discussion. Maybe I'll talk about that first before I talk about my thoughts. I think like I guess to some degree, Isabel, would you say like you're upset with the whole like in a way he's like reducing women to statistics, right? In a way, right? Like he's reducing like yeah, and it doesn't sound necessarily like is it like it doesn't sound necessarily like what do you call it? Too bad. It's just that like for example when he says like okay women utilize both right sides of the brains and stuff like that, right? I feel like you and I we feel an aversion to this in the sense that like because it's like very it's calculative. It's very calculative. I feel like we already established that as
I
a
would
point.
agree on that, on the calculated part. But I cannot agree to a subjection that this is what it is, that women are this way and men are this way. And, because if you understand human behavior, then if you study psychology or you studied, because I've studied juvenile psychology, I've studied child psychology, I've studied abnormal psychology. It doesn't bounce to one particular aspect of behavior. It changes, and human behavior always changes given the circumstance and the situation. So some people might find something more moral than others, and it changes. Like for example, say there's a person drowning. Okay, very simple explanation. There's a person drowning. Would you risk your life to save that person? You may or may not. But then it depends on the situation. Maybe you can swim, maybe you can't swim.
All right, I'm
Maybe
back.
you wanna help the person or you don't wanna help the person. Maybe you're more proud. It's situational based. That's how human behavior works. It's you cannot subject one person to one behavior because of brain thinking or left and right hemispheres in your brain. That's not how human behavior works. It always changes with circumstances and situations.
Of course.
I have found
Absolutely.
it subjective,
Of
which is
100%.
what he was suggesting. That
Without a
was my
doubt,
issue.
yes.
Yeah, like I think also like a thought I had a while ago while listening to you, Alex, was like I think oh shit, I lost it. I thought I took it down too, but I didn't take it down. But okay, it's definitely very calculated. So Features of the information age. Okay, well, Sheriff, I'm curious, like, how old are you, if you don't mind me asking?
I'm 29.
Oh, okay, I see. Because like me and Isabel, we're both in like a lot older, and we did have like this discussion a while ago about how like social media culture has changed, and like a lot of the ways like dating and all that has changed because of like yeah, like different between different generations and stuff like that. So like I think we feel like a natural aspect of the way younger people, you know, perceive these types of like dating rituals and stuff like that, right? And I think like and I think like I'm trying to pinpoint like what is that aversion, right? Like what is that feeling that we have? Um,
Aversion what?
like aversion to like for example everything that Alex has described. So okay, oh yeah, I just remember what I wanted to. Okay, wait, hold on, let me just write it down real quick.
Sure, no problem.
So I'm just curious to know, like, are you using this method as like a way? Are you saying that like
Sorry, you cut out. Can you restate that? Are we using this method as a what?
are you using this method? Are you trying to use this method as like a way to? Are you trying to tell people that this is the method to go about like dating, like, making or forming relationships with women? Like, is that your goal?
Well, first of all, my main goal is to find somebody that's worth talking to and that has similar interests. And of course I like women, so yeah, it's going to be women. Whether or not that goes anywhere is entirely dependent on, you know, obviously the outcome or the response to my approach. But yeah, ultimately that's the goal, is to find somebody who I'm attracted to and has similar interests. That's about it.
And then okay, so I have a
I
question.
think it's a
It's
very
like, okay, so
innocent. I think it's a very innocent approach.
A lot of this is the product of the
yeah,
time.
okay, I agree with that. I agree with that.
Sure.
But also like I think but of course when you go about it, because it comes across as very calculative, I kind of don't necessarily agree that like the women who you're interacting with are going to see it as innocent. You know what I mean? Even though the intentions are like, you know, innocent, but like your methods are probably
if
not, are not
something is
innocent.
preemptively planned, right? Let's say that I have a lot of experience with women, hypothetically. And generally speaking, I can kind of predict how they respond, and I'm doing and saying all the right things, right? In what way is this particularly bad or exploitative or unethical? Damn, I'm so good. That's such a good question. Holy fuck.
Like it's probably not. Like I agree with you. Like I think like
Great, then we
it's
don't
very much
disagree.
like
Then we don't
no,
disagree.
what I'm trying to say,
Go ahead.
no, we don't. No, yeah, it's like I said, it's probably not. But like what I'm concerned about, I'm curious to know is that, for example, let's just say hypothetically speaking, you have a girl who you've been, you know, you've been doing this with for a while, right? Everything is going nice and cool, but somehow, somewhere along the way, either you reveal it to her, finds out by herself that this is like the plan, like this is like the kind of
Right.
like structure you've had going into this.
Let's say she finds this conversation on YouTube. Yeah.
Sure. Yeah. Let's just go with that. So, like, what? And in your mind, you already kind of, I mean, right before that, you kind of established that like most women hate this, right? Like a lot of
Oh
women,
yeah,
like they
they
don't like this
fucking hate
idea.
it. Yeah, they fucking hate it.
So, how would you navigate like what? How first of all, how would you predict her reaction? And then, like, I'm curious.
How would I predict her reaction, and what else? You cut out.
And like, how would you navigate like what like around that? I guess like what would
I
your
think that
steps
most
be?
women's reaction to me talking this way, would be to stop talking to me, and at that point I would have no control. They would probably either
So,
block me or just stop talking to me, and that's fine. That's fine, right? Because here's the reality. I think that knowing too much is bad for your own good, right? If I knew too much about what politicians did behind closed doors, that would be bad for my own good, because I'm distracting myself from an alternate reality in which, you know, ignorance is bliss. Have you ever heard of that saying? I think a lot of women are happier.
I've heard of it, but I don't agree with it.
I think a lot of women and men are happier not knowing everything in life. And this is one of those things where, if you can keep your woman happy and you have good intentions and you're not doing anything to take advantage of their situation or exploiting them, there's necessarily nothing wrong with that. You're just occulting and hiding some information that would otherwise be perceived negatively, but is not negative in and of itself, right?
I don't necessarily agree.
God damn
Like,
it.
it really depends on the. I think it depends on the woman, really. Like, I mean, to some degree, like, I think, like, the kind of woman that might be fine with this would be someone who's, like, not very submissive, who's going to challenge you every step of the way.
Oh, sure, yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
the ones who are going to, because, like, there's an element of control here that a lot of women are going to perceive when they realize, like, if they were to find out. And that's one reason why I
Sure.
think a lot of them, they're going to stop talking to you. Yeah, because you're going to see it as, like, this is like not the way I want things to go.
Right,
Like, okay,
right,
if
right, right.
if
Yeah,
you
yeah.
if
Most
in
women
many
would
ideal
prefer to fall in
friendships,
love in like a coffee shop or a bookstore, right? You drop a book, the guy picks it up. Hey, I'm so sorry. And then the guy goes, yeah, no problem. Hey, are you free this weekend? Right? That's what most women have in their head. But
not
they
necessarily.
you know,
I
I'm just
yeah,
making a lighthearted joke. It's not being serious, but idealistically, it is kind of true though, right? Because that would be a lot more organic than me coming on LinkedIn and contacting a bunch of women in hopes that some of them share my interests and also find me attractive. Wouldn't you agree? Like
have
that
you?
is kind of the point.
I don't know. Have you
No.
have you heard of the TV show You?
Yes, I have. Oh
Like,
fuck, yeah, I know where you're going with this. But go ahead, yeah.
yeah. Okay.
Hopefully you're not
So a
calling me a
lot of
murderer and a stalker.
no, no,
Oh,
no. Well, like, I think, like, typically, like Joe Goldberg is a very fascinating character in the sense that, like, he has that analysis when he speaks, like the women interests, his romantic interests, right? Like, we listen to his inner monologue throughout the show, and there is just, like, this he's very calculative. We see how, like, if we take the first season, I'm not sure if you've seen it, but, like, he
I've
works
seen
at a
it.
bookstore. So he works at a bookstore. He sees the Beck, right, the first girl, and he's immediately observing her body language. He's immediately kind of, you know,
Yeah, breaking her down,
like,
per se.
basically, yes,
Yeah.
exactly. So
Is she
there is
wearing
just, like,
no
this.
bra? Right, yeah. Yeah, I get it. Yeah.
Yes, you
Yeah,
remember that.
of course, of
Uh,
course. Such a
okay,
good scene.
okay.
But okay, women want to be read. They love that. They want a man who can read them. I've been in
I
relationships
think
with
the issue.
32-year-old girls, and I walk up to her and I go, "What's wrong?" And she goes, "How did you know?" And I go, "You don't think I know? I've been inside you. We live together. We are a couple. It is my job to know." Women are women are, and when I say women, what I mean is most women. I don't mean all, right? I don't mean all. They are cryptic. They are non-confrontational. They usually don't confess everything up front, which requires a man to do some digging, which I think he should do, and a real man with experience would be able to determine that. If I can just tell by the way that a girl looks at me if something is off. Hey, what's wrong? How'd you know? Because I care. If I didn't care, I wouldn't be reading women because I don't care about their interests, right? When a man does his
yeah.
job and he reads a woman, it is because he has a vested interest in making her happy. And he can
Do
only
you
make
have
her
the same
happy
energy with your?
if he knows
Okay,
what she
sorry.
wants.
Mm.
I mean, am I
Do
wrong?
you have the same energy with your male friends? Like, out of
I
curiosity,
don't have male
like,
friends. I
would you
only
also?
make friends with women.
Oh, red flags.
But I'll tell you what, every woman that is my friend knows my exact intention with her, and it is a perfectly consensual, perfectly ethical relationship. I would never be friends with a girl who didn't know my intentions or had intentions with me that didn't share resemblance with mine. God damn it, I'm good. That is such a fucking perfect way to say it. Because, go ahead, yeah. No, I'm done.
I have a question. Actually, you know what? I'll let Isabel go because I think he's been wanting
Go
to
ahead,
say
Isabel.
something for a while.
I know you have some burning questions. Yeah, go ahead.
As I said earlier, my sister, Vatika, is more. Well, she speaks better, way better than I.
It's okay. No,
Um,
you speak perfect. You're fine.
Not on the pace. Um, so a couple of things that you said. Um, Now we're not in the brain activity. We're talking about most women and all women. You said not all women, but most women. How do you differentiate between most and all?
Hold on 2 seconds. I'm just gonna make this joke. Or should I say Drinko de Mayo? Um,
So when you say most, are you
okay.
referring to countries? You're
Have you
talking
ever taken
about.
a class on anthropology? Usually it's required for any degree.
I started a class in anthropology.
Great. Perfect. Then you have some understanding on this. Evolution states that women and men utilize different behaviors for survival, right? And women would not survive much if they were confrontational physical creatures, right? So they use different tactics. They tend to avoid confrontation because they're usually physically weaker, and that's how they survive, right?
Have
Therefore,
you
I
heard of
think
this?
that, well, hang on. Therefore, I think they're logical creatures and that they understand their advantages and disadvantages in the same way that men do. So when I look at that, I think their behavior can mostly be generalized as non-confrontational because it would not benefit them to be confrontational. They would get killed a lot more often. They would be put in dangerous situations, and that's why they have to make evaluations quickly. That's just a fact.
I have to interrupt you. I
So
have to
that's so
interrupt you
that's no,
because
but so that's let me just touch the plane down, then put the bow on it and give you the present. That's where that comes from. That's where that generalization comes from. It's not a harmful generalization. It's perfectly reasonable. Go ahead.
it is horrible. Okay,
It's horrible.
I'll
Science
give
and
you the names
evolution
of
is
two.
horrible. Go ahead.
I'll give you the Okay, I'll give you the names of three women. Okay, one, Rani Lakshmi Bai. Have you heard of her? Do you know
Hold
who
on.
she
Let me
is?
let me grab my phone. I'm sorry. Say the name again?
Rani Lakshmi Bai was a
No.
freedom fighter in India. She was a pregnant woman, warrior, that rode into battle pregnant. First woman. Second woman, Indira Gandhi. Third woman, uh, uh, she flew a plane, uh, but they never found the plane, or they never found her also. Earl Hart something, I forgot her name. She was American or British, I guess. At least the first two women, because I'm very much in touch with the Indian history. Rani Lakshmi Bai was a woman. They called her the warrior mother. She rode into battle. She fought for India, pregnant. The second woman, Indira Gandhi, the first woman prime minister. And when Abdul Kalam also helped create the first hydrogen or atomic bomb in India. It's called Agni.
Hmm. Yeah.
So I think you should reevaluate what you think you know about women.
So you think that because there's three women that you mentioned, all of a sudden that throws out entire evolutionary
No,
behavior?
I'm just suggesting, or I'm not suggesting. I'm actually pushing forth that not everything is as clear and black and white as you think it is.
I've already accounted for that by saying it's not
Nobody.
black and white. I've already said that not every
Yeah,
woman
but
is the same.
some of the terms some of the terms you indicate, and that's why I was getting very annoyed.
Sure, yeah.
But I was controlling myself. But
No,
many of
Isabel,
the
I
terms that you
understand
said,
what you're saying. I get what you're saying, and I understand the sentiment that you're kind of positing here. But the thing is this, I already accounted for this by saying not every girl is like this, and those girls that you're describing are what we call statistical anomalies and outliers, meaning they don't represent the majority of women, meaning they are really, really strong niche categories of women that are freedom fighters, that are dedicated revolution badass bitches, right? They're boss babes. Sure, whatever, that's fine. But the majority of women are not going to go into fucking war pregnant and try to stab somebody because they protect themselves, right?